Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is MK, and today I'm going to demo my project called MK Delta. I built this app to simplify complex billing adjustments for annual Troop events for SaaS-based license agreements. This project was inspired by Cisco's Troop Forward process, which is essentially their spin on an annual license reconciliation. In the description of this video, I'll include the lore about how this project got onto my radar. But from a high level, the goal is to solve a real-life pain point in which partners were often left in the dark about pricing and expectations. For the purposes of this demo, I simulated reports that include 100% fictional data. I even created fake companies, products, and terminology to avoid using any Cisco-specific content. In our fictional IT channel, the software vendor is called Cywave Networks. And then we'll be playing the role of the distributor MK Epsilon Technologies, who helps VARs and MSPs procure and manage SaaS-based license subscriptions. And then the star of the show is Cywave's annual Troop event called a True Delta. And now, without further ado, let's see how MK Epsilon lights up the way to clarity when it comes to Cywave's annual True Deltas. All right, here we go. Before we see MK Delta in action, let's take a quick peek at the report. Here in our first tab, we have some general information about the license agreement and the end customer. However, we don't have any information about the partner. We also have a cost here, but that's Cywave's cost to MK Epsilon, so we'll need to be able to add our profit to this number. Down here at the bottom, we see some packages, which are different categories that the products are grouped into. Since these are all over 100% usage, that means that Kratos Motors has exceeded their original license allocation, which triggered this true-up event. Hopping over to the second tab, we get into the details about each line item. Here we can see how the licenses are grouped into packages. We also have the originally purchased quantity as well as the actual deployment. Scrolling over, we have some pricing info. However, these columns don't indicate if this is an extended cost for the full term of 36 months or only the remaining 24 months. Right next to that, we have something called license shift. This allows end customers to essentially trade in eligible unused licenses to offset partial or in some cases even all of the cost of the True Delta. Okay, let's close out of here so we can give this report a makeover. I'm going to drop it right here into MK Delta and we'll get this user form where we can tell it who the partner is. Then we have a drop down that lets us select how we would like to price this bad boy, using a holdback percent, a markup, or a margin. I'm going to go with a markup and set it to 10 points. Next, we can save the new document to a location of our choice. And the name of the document will already be populated to include the reference ID as well as the date and the initials of the user. And flawless victory. We have a new partner-facing document and we can see exactly where it's saved. We can even open the file directly from this pop-up, so let's take a look. Immediately, we can see that the report has been reformatted to include MK Epsilon's logo and color scheme. And we now have our partner included. We also see an estimated invoice and credit. Breaking it down like this on the estimate helps avoid confusion because the partners will have a heads up about how these are billed. Cywave sends out a prorated invoice for the licenses that have exceeded allocation that includes the total quantity for the remaining duration. Then they send out a prorated credit memo for the originally purchased quantity. When you subtract the credit from the invoice, you get the true delta net cost. Next, we have a line-by-line snapshot of the licenses that are included in the true delta. Under the item section, we have a couple notes to set expectations to give partners a heads up about what will go down on the true delta date. Popping over to the next tab, we have every line item, including those that are not part of the True Delta transaction. This gives the partner a holistic view of the agreement. Here we can see everything, the item's package, tier, and so forth. We now also have the license shift quantities right here with the rest of the quantity information, so all of your quantity questions can be answered in one spot. And check this out, we now have the extended prices for both the total duration and the remaining duration, and the column headers clearly specify how many months we're talking. We also have the invoice and credit memo breakdown again. This is to show partners that the licenses that are within allocation are not going to be included in the True Delta transaction. I'm going to run this same example again real quick, except for this time the reference ID is now Sigma002. And I'm going to select margin so we can see how the app handles different pricing strategies. And now let's quickly compare pricing to see that MK Delta has indeed accounted for the difference in pricing structures. All right, this is the last time, I promise. I'm going to run it one more time with the same reference ID of Sigma002, but this time the license agreement is for 60 months with 48 months remaining. And now when we try to save the document, since we used Sigma002 last time, we already have one with the same name. So now we can choose a version number to prevent overwriting. Now let's jump straight to the details tab where we can see that the headers have adjusted to show 60 and 48 months to accurately reflect this license agreement. And that's MK Delta. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed creating MK Delta. If you have any similar workflows that you'd like to see automated, I'm on Fiverr at mkb0020. And feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions, if you'd like to see some more examples, or if you have any feedback or suggestions on ways that I can make it better. I'd love to hear from you.